Welcome to the Timek Aglawlaw podcast, where we discuss environmental sustainability and highlight our communities are preserving nature and their cultural heritage. Our title for today's podcast is Roots for Resilience: How Indigenous Wisdom Sustainable Mountain Forests. I'm your host for today, Rian Andrada, and today we're diving into the Indigenous Resource Management Plans in the Province, covering the unique Batangan system practiced in Besao, Sagada, and Tadyan. Joining us is our Regional Executive Director, Engineer Paquito T. Moreno Jr., an expert in environmental management who has worked closely with these communities. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Rian. It's a pleasure to be here and to discuss again how these indigenous resource management plans are not only protecting the forest, but also preserving the cultural practices that sustain them.
Absolutely. This conversation promises a deep dive into how traditional and modern practices blend to form this IRMPS. Let's get started. So, to set the stage, can you please explain the Batangan system? What makes it special?
The Batangan system is a community-based forest management system practiced in the mountain province, primarily among indigenous groups. It's an approach rooted in respect for nature, where forests are seen as a shared resource to be protected. Historically, the Batangan system developed as communities used resources like Benguet pine sustainably with guidelines that passed down through generations.
Oh, I see, sir. So, it's more than just rules. So, it's deeply cultural?
Yes, it's ingrained in the cultural fabric of these communities. The Batangan system is about sustaining the forest and the people who rely on it. With support from the DNR and CIP, the system has been recognized formally through the Indigenous Resource Management Plans, which blend tradition with structured modern policies for sustainability.
That's interesting. So, how did the formalization process come about?
Years of informal conservation efforts led to formal recognition, particularly as communities collaborated with government agencies. The Memorandum of Agreement among DENR-CAR and CIP and local governments was a landmark, paving the way for the Batangan system to be included as part of the National Sustainable Traditional Indigenous Forest Resources Management System and Practices.
Let's discuss Bisao's RMP first. What's unique about it?
Bisao's IRMP is remarkable for its focus on fire prevention and reforestation. The community there relies on natural regeneration using pine wildlings, a method supported by DNR initiatives. Bisao's forest lands are divided into protection, production, and multiple use areas to cater to different resource needs.
So, sir, did the community faces challenges during the IRMPS development?
Yes, Bisao's IRMP involved overcoming several challenges like forest fires and the weakening of volunteerism. A SWOT analysis revealed both strengths like community values or inayan and challenges including limited resources for forest enforcement and frequent forest fires.
Inayan. That's very intriguing concept. Could you explain its significance, sir?
Inayan is a cultural conscience that discourages actions harmful to the environment.
Hmm.
It's a guiding principle that prevents overexploitation of resources and promotes community accountability. It's amazing to see how cultural values like Inayan shape people's interactions with the environment and are central to the Batangan system.
It is indeed amazing, sir. So, what strategies have they implemented to address these challenges?
Bisao's IRMP includes firebreak creation, awareness campaigns, and policies against unauthorized timber cutting. Community practices such as Ob-Obu, which means mutual help, are crucial for fire protection and forest maintenance. The IRMP also formalizes selective logging permits known as pamamalubos, ensuring sustainable resource use under the oversight of the Council of Elders.
It sounds like a well coordinated approach. What role do partnerships play in the RMP's success?
Partnerships with the DNR, local governments, and NGOs strengthen the plan, offering technical and financial support for reforestation and community training. The IRMP's success hinges on collaboration both within the community and with external partners.
Now let's shift to Sagada, sir. How does their IRMP compare?
Sagada's IRMP is unique due to its zoning system, dividing the domain into five distinct zones based on location and purpose. These include Central, South Central, Northern, Eastern, and Southern zones, each classified for specific uses like timber production, protection, and multiple use areas.
So, sir, what are some standout features in Sagada's approach to resource management?
One significant aspect is Sagada's selective timber harvesting approach, which regulates tree cutting based on size and need. This ensures sustainable extraction while conserving the forest. Sagada also integrates agroforestry, which supports food security and soil conservation, a small approach given the mountainous terrain.
I see, sir. So, how does water management fit into the IRMP?
Water resource protection is critical, as many rivers originate in these forests. Watershed areas are heavily protected with buffer zones to prevent deforestation near water sources. Sagada's IRMP ensures that these critical zones are maintained, safeguarded the community's water supply.
Okay, sir. So, community led water protection. Well, that's very inspiring. Do you see this as a model for other indigenous area?
Of course, Sagada's RMP exemplifies how traditional systems can address modern environmental challenges, making it a powerful model.
So, sir, what about Tajan's IRMP? How does it differ from Sagada's and Bisau's plan?
Tadyan places significant emphasis on data-driven management through its Batangan database. The IRMP monitors forest activity meticulously, recording everything from tree growth to harvesting. This data-driven approach allows Tadyan to manage its resources sustainably and anticipate future needs.
Now, that sounds very strategic. What specific conservation practices are implemented in Tajan?
Tadyan's IRMP integrates annual reforestation activities and controlled burning for fire prevention. These practices, combined with community led forest patrols, help prevent illegal logging and protect young saplings. Sacred grounds are also shielded from any resource extraction to prevent and preserve biodiversity.
How is this IRMP shaping the younger generation's attitudes towards conservation?
The IRMP includes environmental education programs that connect youth to their cultural heritage. By learning about traditional practices, young people develop a respect for their environment and take pride in their community's role in sustainable management.
That's very fascinating, sir. So, sir, the IRMP is about more than just the forest. It's about passing on values.
Exactly, Rian. It's a holistic approach, teaching the next generation not just conversation skills, but the values that underpin their identity as custodians of their ancestral lands.
Okay, sir. So, what are the overarching challenges that these IRMPs face across the board?
All three IRMPs face challenges like forest fires, limited enforcement resources, and occasional conflicts over land boundaries. These areas are prone to dry spells, which increase fire risk. And there's always the need for more funding and community engagement.
With that being said, sir, how do these communities address these issues?
Through a combination of strategies, fire prevention is a priority with fire breaks, community fire brigades, and seasonal fire awareness campaigns. Boundary disputes are resolved using traditional mediation methods, with the Council of Elders playing a key role in conflict resolution.
And how are resources managed for long-term sustainability?
Sustainability mechanisms include community ownership, selective harvesting permits, and periodic assessments by the Batangan councils. By making decisions based on real-time data and the needs of the community, the IRMPs ensure resources are available for future generations.
Okay, sir, so let's discuss the broader impact of these IRMPs. How do they benefit communities economically?
Ecotourism is a growing opportunity, especially in Sagada and in Tadjan. These communities are leveraging their pristine forests and cultural sites to attract tourists, which creates income while encouraging environmental stewardship.
Well, that's fascinating. So, ecotourism is not only an economic opportunity, but also a way to involve visitors in the conservation story.
Exactly. For instance, tourists can experience forest walks guided by locals who explain the importance of traditional forest practices and the Batangan system. This way, ecotourism becomes educational, allowing visitors to appreciate the balance of nature and culture in these areas.
So, sir, what are some other potential benefits the community is seeing from this IRMPs?
Aside from ecotourism, the IRMPs provide employment through reforestation projects, forest maintenance, and sustainable agriculture. Young people, in particular, are becoming more engaged in these initiatives, which provides an alternative to urban migration. It allows them to stay, contribute to the community, and sustain their heritage.
Very nice, sir. Speaking for the younger generation, how are youth being incorporated into the IRMPs? What roles do they play?
The IRMPs include educational programs that teach local students about forest management and conservation from a young age. Youth participate in annual tree planting events, fire prevention drills, and even help with maintaining the Batangan database. This involvement builds their sense of responsibility and gives them hands on experience with sustainable practices.
It sounds like a great way to keep traditions alive while preparing for the future. What impact have you seen so far?
The youth have been very receptive. Many of them now advocate for conservation and are active participants in protecting their forests. This engagement is key because it ensures the IRMP's values and goals will continue to be respected by future generations.
Okay, so for our listeners, what lessons can other communities or even urban areas take away from the success of this IRMPs, sir?
The IRMPs show the power of integrating traditional knowledge with modern resource management. When communities take ownership of their environment and blend cultural values with practical conservation measures, it leads to sustainable results. This approach is adaptable to any community that wants to preserve its resource while empowering its people.
So, it's about building a relationship with the land that goes beyond economics.
Exactly. It's about respect, heritage, and sustainability, values anyone, anywhere can learn from.
Okay, sir. So thank you very much, Sir Engineer Moreno, for this enlightening discussion on the Indigenous Resource Management Plans and the Batangan system. Before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'd like to encourage everyone to support initiatives that protect our natural heritage and to respect the wisdom indigenous communities offer. We can all play a part in promoting sustainability, by learning from these practices and supporting policies that empower communities.
That's a great message. Thank you so much, Engineer Moreno, for sharing your insight. And thank you to our listeners for tuning into Timok Aglawlaw. Join us next time as we continue exploring impactful stories that shape our environment and future.
Thank you, Rian. It was a pleasure to discuss these initiatives with you and your listeners.
Until next time, take care and remember every action we take towards sustainability counts. Thank you.